challenge.
It's Monday morning. Your alarm goes off, but you hit snooze 3 times. Already, you feel behind. You rush to work or school, scrolling through your phone, comparing your life to everyone else's highlight reels. Traffic slows you down, deadlines pile up, and someone makes a comment that lingers in your head all day. By the time you get home, you're drained. Maybe you snap at someone you love, not because they did anything wrong, but because your mind has been running you instead of you running your mind. Sound familiar? This is the reality for so many of us. Stress, distraction, anxiety. We live in a world that constantly pulls at our attention and manipulates our emotions. And often we forget the one truth that could change everything. When you control your mind, life transforms. That's what this video is about. It's not just philosophy, it's a roadmap to reclaiming your power. And no philosophy gives us clearer tools than Stoicism.
Stoic lens. The Stoics lived 2,000 years ago, but they wrestled with the same struggles: fear, anger, temptation, and the chaos of daily life. And they discovered something profound. The mind is the only thing we truly control. Marcus Aurelius, Emperor of Rome, wrote in his journal, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." Imagine that, the ruler of the most powerful empire in the world, reminding himself that his real power wasn't armies or wealth, but his thoughts. Epictetus, born a slave, lived with almost no external control over his life. Yet he taught his students, we cannot choose our external circumstances, but we can always choose how we respond. Even in chains, his mind was free. And Seneca, advisor to emperors and one of the wealthiest men of his time, still reminded himself that wealth, status, and success meant nothing if he couldn't govern his emotions. He wrote, "He who is brave is free." The Stoics saw it clearly. External events are beyond us. Internal control is within us. That's why they built practices to train the mind, because they knew that when you control your mind, life transforms.
So, how do we apply this today? How do we truly take control of the mind in a world overflowing with distraction and pressure? Let's look at 4 Stoic strategies that you can begin using right now. Practice the dichotomy of control. This is Stoicism's core idea. Separate what you can control from what you cannot. You can't control traffic. You can't control other people's opinions. You can't control the weather. But you can control your effort, your focus, and your response. Every time anxiety rises, ask yourself, is this mine to control? If yes, act. If no, release it. Because peace begins where control ends. Use the pause before reaction. Most problems come not from what happens, but from how we react. Anger,
frustration, and fear all spike in seconds. The Stoics trained themselves to pause. When insulted, they stayed silent. When provoked, they waited before speaking. That pause created freedom. Modern example: before sending that angry text, breathe. Before lashing out in traffic, exhale. That small gap between event and reaction can transform chaos into calm. Train with voluntary discomfort. Seneca practiced sleeping on the floor or eating simple meals to remind himself that luxury isn't necessary for happiness. Marcus reminded himself daily that death and loss were part of life. Why? Because practicing discomfort toughens the mind. Take a cold shower. Skip your phone for a day. Walk in silence. By doing hard things on purpose, you learn you can handle life's surprises.
Reflect and reframe daily. The Stoics ended each day with reflection. Seneca wrote, "When the light has been removed and my wife has fallen silent, I examine my entire day." Ask yourself nightly, where did I lose control of my mind? Where did I stay calm? What can I improve tomorrow? This isn't judgment, it's training. Over time, reflection strengthens the habit of control. These are daily practices, not quick hacks, but lifelong training. And if practiced consistently, they prove the truth. When you control your mind, life transforms, because your mind shapes every action, every decision, every experience.
Deeper reflection. Let's go deeper. Why does controlling the mind matter so much? Because the mind is the filter of life. Events happen, but we don't experience them directly. We experience them through thought. Imagine two people in a rainstorm. One curses the weather, feels miserable, and calls it a ruined day. The other smiles, enjoys the freshness, and sees it as cleansing. Same event, two minds, two realities. That's the Stoic insight. Life is less about what happens and more about how we perceive it. And here's the bigger truth. When you control your mind, you gain freedom. Not the kind of freedom politicians promise, but the deeper kind. Freedom from being enslaved by fear, by anger, by desire. Think about it. How many times have you felt trapped? Not by your circumstances, but by your own thoughts. The anxiety that whispers, "You're not enough." The anger that ruins your day. The comparison that steals your joy. The Stoics remind us, you're not powerless. You don't have to be ruled by your emotions. You can step back, reframe, and guide your mind. And when you do, you find strength, peace, and clarity, even in the middle of chaos. This is why Stoicism isn't just philosophy, it's practical freedom training. And it's why, when you control your mind, life transforms. Because suddenly, you're no longer at the mercy of events. You're no longer a prisoner of circumstance. You're in command of yourself. And that's the most powerful form of success.
Empowerment. Close. So let's bring it together. The world is noisy. stressful, unpredictable. But you have a choice. You can live as a victim of circumstance or as the master of your mind. The Stoics showed us how. Separate what you can control from what you can't. Pause before reacting. Train your mind through discomfort. Reflect daily and reframe your thoughts. These are not abstract ideas. These are daily practices that build strength and peace. Marcus Aurelius faced invasions, betrayals, and endless challenges, yet wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." Epictetus lived in slavery, yet taught freedom of the mind. Seneca enjoyed wealth, yet warned that only inner control brings true peace. Their lesson is timeless. When you control your mind, life transforms. So here's my challenge to you. Today, catch one thought, one reaction, one moment where your mind tries to run you. Pause, reflect, and choose your response. Because life will always test you, but if you train your mind, you can meet every test with strength, calm, and clarity. If this video inspired you, share it with someone who feels overwhelmed by life's chaos. And remember, the strongest fortress isn't built of stone or steel. It's built inside your own mind.